Feel strange going through life with no friends. Almost text my ex, but then sin. Always hitting my shot, but can't win. When I'm win, go forced to can't sing. Oh, 13 years without my brother, man. Cause I'm living with my mother, man. And I'm back talking to my father, ain't talking to my brother. And I don't give a more. Thank you so much for tuning in to Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim on IntellectualRadio.com. I pray everyone is doing well after an amazing Mother's Day weekend. My weekend was phenomenal. Today, we have our producer and my wifey for lifey, Sumner, is back in the building with us today. And again, I am your host, Kimberly Watkins Allman. Thank you for the Mother's Day wishes through email, text, and cards. We just wanted to be in a peaceful space with each other and just do what we wanted to do. Just absolutely positive, absolutely peaceful. That's exactly how we spent our Mother's Day, but we do appreciate all the acknowledgments from some wonderful individuals. I just wanted to stop by today to also give you a recap of last week's show. Your favorite conversations on Intellectual Radio. If you missed us last week, go back to YouTube, Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim or Intellectual Radio to view our previous live conversations. I'm sure there will be a couple that you might have missed and that you would appreciate sharing to someone else as well. Again, we appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to let you know exactly a little bit about our conversation today. Today, I have Paul Lamar Hunter, and he is the 19th child of 21 children. That is the conversation topic today on Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim. Miss Kim has so many birthdays today. I have to say happy birthday to my Aunt Dorothy. I have to say happy 4th birthday to Kalani Cheney. This is the reason why we both have on Barbie sweatshirts, because we had a Barbie party today. So everything was about her today with her 4th birthday, and we are Barbied out. I did not even have an opportunity to change. I have a fabulous 40-year-old friend and sister out there, Tiana. You are classy as ever, and we love you, and happy 40th birthday. Again, today on Crazy Conversations, I have the 19th child of 21 children. Same mother, same father. We will be right back on Crazy Conversations so we can continue this amazing conversation. Yeah. Like at this point in life, man, like if you ain't got good vibes, man, great vibes, man, don't come around me, you know what I mean? Don't even waste your time on mine, you know what I mean? Feel strange going through life with no friends. Almost text my ex, but then sin. Always hitting my shot, but can't win. Jet when I'm win, go forced to can't sing. Oh, 13 years without my brother, man. Cause I'm living with my mother, man. And I'm back talking to my father, ain't talking to my brother. And I don't give a more. Y'all, it's my prerogative to live how I live, to feel how I feel. You know what it is. It's my word to live in this, so don't waste my time. Look me in my eyes, this time I'm going off your eyes and vibes. Go off of vibes, and if they ain't right, then I say goodbye. Great vibes, great vibes, this time I'm going off your eyes and vibes. With no friends, almost text my ex, but then sin. Always hitting my shot, but can't win. A jet when I'm win, go voice that can't sing. Oh, 13 years without my brother, man. Cause I'm living with my mother, man. And I'm back talking to my father. Thank you so much for listening to Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim. Again, we were just letting you know about today's conversation, and that conversation is with Paul Lamar Hunter, 19th child of 21 children. Paul Lamar Hunter was born in Racine, Wisconsin in 1970. Paul is the 19th of 21 natural children born to his parents, James and Louise Hunter, or is it Lois? I'm sorry, Paul, if I did that wrong with mom's name. His childhood experiences included poverty, neglect, and tragedy. A determined spirit and unshakable faith lifted Paul to earn a degree in business administrations. Mr. Hunter is a motivational speaker and a positive entrepreneur. Paul Lamar Hunter is also a father to 4 adult children. Paul wrote his autobiography titled No Love, No Charity: The Success of the 19th Child in 2012. This book earned attention by Ebony magazine. Mr. Hunter has appeared on several television shows, including Tavis Smiley, Tom Joyner, and Fox Friends. Mr. Hunter has also received information regarding his book will be made into a screenplay. So we are totally excited about that news about No Love, No Charity, 19th child of 21 children. Today, Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim would like you to know and for you to love Mr. Paul Lamar Hunter. Thank you so much, Mr. Hunter, for spending time with Miss Kim.
Hey, I am delighted that you had me on your show tonight. And I want to tell everybody, they need to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time to listen to Crazy Conversation with Kim, because she's a diva, and every Tuesday night she has some hot topics and hot news to spread in America.
Oh my God, that was such a wonderful introduction. How much you charge? That was amazing, Paul. Okay, well, I want you to tell the listeners a little bit of what you are bringing as the 19th child of 21 children. This story, Paul, it touched me. It touched the station owner, my wife. We are excited to hear about 21 children. And the reason why it's so urgent to me is because I always wanted a big family like that. So if I could have afforded to have that many children, I probably would. But having a household with 7 children, I almost got there. So again, we appreciate you sharing your story with us on Crazy Conversations. I'm going to turn it over to you, Paul.
Hey, Kim, thank you. I really appreciate it. But let me say this. My mother deserved all the credit, she and my father. My mother birthed 21 natural children by my dad. You might remember this song back in the 60s or 70s. I've been stroking. So my mom is
Clarence Carter. I've
been stroking. And my dad was stroking real good. I'm talking about every time my mom had a baby, it seemed like my dad couldn't wait for the 6 weeks to expire so he can go back and say, I'm stroking.
Oh my God.
But it's 17 of us living today, 63 grandchildren, and 87 great-grandchildren. It is amazing to come from a very big, huge family. But let me say this. We did have some difficult times, and I still appreciate the city of Racine and the people that came to our aid when we were in need, because I have to tell this story. Real, true American story. My mother was pregnant with the 14th child. They were living in a 2-bed home. home. The sheriff came knocking on the door and told my mom and dad they had 72 hours to vacate. Mom and dad went to church that night, prayed that old-fashioned prayer that you don't see today in today's churches. They gather around them and prayed and asked God for a miracle. The next day, a miracle happened. A man came to pick my mom and dad up to give them a home, an 18-bedroom home, just for $1. Mom did not have the $1. Dad did not have the $1 because they didn't get paid until Friday. The man went into his wallet, gave my mother the $1 to pay him. That house was a blessing for us. And that's why when you read my mother's book, Love and Charity, the life story of Louise Hunter, and the Love and Charity Homeless Shelter, in my book, No Love, No Charity, The Success of the 19th Child, you will discover that we had experienced some trials and tribulations, but we never gave up because it was our faith that kept us going in times of need.
That is amazing, Paul. It's okay if I'm in your business, right? Because I've been all in your business. But before I get in your business, I needed to tell you that I thank you for being patient with Miss Kim. You were one of the conversations that requested my interview with you, and I was in transition of leaving one station, and I just want to say thank you for being patient. You were supposed to be on Crazy Conversations in July of 2023, and you waited, and I wanted to say I appreciate it before I get in your business.
Hey, when you come from a big family, you learn to be patient.
Okay. Well,
you learn to be patient.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, I have some questions. I told you that.
Yes.
My question, out of 21 children, how many children are college graduates?
Well, some of my siblings went to college, but they never completed it.
Okay.
So I am the only one that completed college. I have a associate's degree in supervisory management. I have a bachelor's of science in business administration from Upper Iowa University. So I am the first college graduate in the family. But let me say this, my brothers and sisters that attended college, I believe they laid the foundation. I was just there to finish it off. And that's what I did. I finished the foundation. I completed the foundation. But as of today, a lot of my nieces and nephews went back. They went to college. They graduated. Some of them have their bachelor's degree, master's degree. I have a nephew right now about to complete his PhD degree. So all it was laying the foundation. That's it. I just became the first, but I'm not the last.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that personal detail with us on Crazy Conversations. Another question that I had, and I don't think that we spoke on this. Are there any twins, Paul? I was wondering if your parents was it any multiple births?
It was just one set of twins, and they end up passing away after birth.
Okay.
It was just one set of twins, and they passed away.
And tell us how was it like in a home with 20 other siblings?
I tell you what, it was very difficult. It was. You ever saw the movie Soul Food? It's similar to Soul Food because on Sundays, my mother and father used to get up at 7:00 in the morning, and the oldest siblings had to get up with them so they can start preparing for dinner. And once they start preparing for dinner, that noon dinner, because the pastor or the pastor assistant would come over and eat with us, and some of the preachers and some of the members from the churches would come over and eat with us. So they would get up about 7:00 in the morning, start preparing, and then by 10:00 we headed out the door. We had 2 station wagons and we had a van. And so we all loaded up. Some of us was in the station wagon, the two station wagons, and some of us was in the van. And we all we went to church. And by noon, we were right at home. And we would sit at the table, and the pastor would come over, or the assistant pastor, and pray. And we would dig in, and we would eat, and we would have us a good time. But one thing that we did on Wednesdays night, we had choir practice. We had the Hunter family band. On Thursday, we had Bible study. And my mother and dad, they ran that house like we were in the military. And my father, he worked two jobs, but my mother worked a part-time job. So we were in church, or we were doing Bible study, or we were doing homework. And they made sure that we were on top of our game, made sure that we had a solid foundation. My mother passed away 4 years ago, but some of the things that she had taught me and my father had taught me, I use it with my kids. And that is one important thing is the power of prayer. And that's the reason why I'm always constantly going before God and praying, because my mother and father used to do that all the time.
Well, this crazy conversations, Paul, you're not going to hold it against me if I say something crazy.
No, because my book is an open book, and my mother's book is an open book, and we tell all.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious. Y'all, it was 21 children, and y'all still invited people over to eat.
Oh, yes, we did. But you got to look at that. We grew up, some of them grew up in the 60s, and I grew up in the 70s. So we knew our neighbors. And as of today, people don't even know their neighbors. They don't have a connection with their neighbors. Just imagine. I remember a time that we used to go to Mrs. Jones' house, and my mama used to give me a cup and say, "Boy, go next door and tell Miss Jones to fill this cup up with flour or fill it up with sugar until your daddy get paid." You can't do that today with your neighbor, because there's a disconnect. Back then, it was a connection that we had with our neighbors.
Yes.
We don't have that today.
Not at
we
all.
used to sit outside. We used to play kickball, and mom and dad would give you instructions. When that street light come on, you better be home.
You better be home. Yes. And so I'm just curious, like, who did the grocery shopping? Like, did all the children come to the store with your parents? Who put the groceries up?
Oh, my mother and father would go to the grocery store on the weekends, and they would go and shop together. And sometimes they would not even go because people in the community knew that we had a big family. This is what I'm talking about, connection here. They knew that we had a big family. They would literally knock at our door and leave food, toys, supplies there, run in their car and take off.
What? Wow.
You talking about, that's why I tell people today, you need to get my mother's book, because you will find out the trials and tribulations that my mother had experienced in her childhood, and how God had performed miracle after miracle after miracle in her life, just as well in my life and in my sibling lives as well.
Paul, why don't you let the listeners know exactly the title of that book and exactly where they can purchase that book?
The title of my mother's book, Love and Charity, the life story of Louise Hunter in the Love and Charity Homeless Shelter. It is written by Dennis James Woods. He's a great writer in Matson, Illinois. And the title of my book is No Love, No Charity, The Success of the 19th Child. Both books are available on Amazon.com website, Barnes and Noble website. You can go to any bookstore and pick up the book. And let me say this, both of these books have been combined together into a screenplay. The screenplay has been completed. I signed a deal with Tailflick 2.5 years ago, and we are looking forward to completing this project, because one day you will take your loved one to the movies to see the Hunter family story.
Oh my God, I cannot wait. I promise you. So as you all grew up, were you all allowed, did you all have a lot of sleepovers?
Hey, we didn't have no sleepovers. We were the sleepovers.
I know, right? That
We did not have any sleepovers whatsoever because even though we had that 18-bedroom house, but with all of these kids and running around the house, it was just too much. So we never did have any sleepovers. But we had some of our relatives would come over and visit us, but no sleepovers whatsoever. So me being a father of four children, two girls, two boys, and a granddaughter. My kids are blessed because they were able to have sleepovers and I was not.
Well, I wanted to find out, do you still have immediate family there in Racine, Wisconsin? Is Are there any
Uh,
siblings that still
yes,
there in your hometown?
yes, there are three siblings there right now, currently right there. I have a brother and I have two sisters that's living in the city of Racine, Wisconsin. Most of us are spread out. We are in Minnesota, Houston, Texas. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, California, Pennsylvania, Memphis, Tennessee. So we basically spread it out, but we are coming back home. I will be back home on June 14th, which is my mother's birthday. And we are going back home for the family reunion to get back together. And we're going to have a good time starting on June 14th in the city of Racine, Wisconsin.
I bet you that is going to be an amazing event to celebrate mom. She looks amazing. So, can you let the listeners know what is your mom known for in the city of Racine? What did they know? What should they know about your
Well,
mom?
I tell you what, she is not known just for 21 children, but my mother is known for the first woman to start a homeless shelter in the city of Racine, Wisconsin. Period. The state of Wisconsin. So while she was raising um, us, she also started the first homeless shelter in the city of Racine, Wisconsin. That shelter stayed active for 45 years. And
Wow.
and my mom just got tired mentally, and it was time for her to retire, and she did. But it stayed active, and she served the community. She gave to the community because the community gave to us. I'm talking about she gave out food, she gave out toys. She also had a drug and alcohol rehab center and love and charity homeless shelter. She really gave back to the community. So I tell people all the time that your parents are not perfect. No parents are not perfect. And so, but my mother and father were the perfect couple that God had put together because she birthed 21 children by my dad, and also she birthed the first homeless shelter in the state of Wisconsin.
Wow, that is a story, Paul. I told you it was so enlightening get to know knowing you guys and knowing about your family. Can you tell the listeners the age of the oldest sibling and the age of the youngest?
Now, the oldest sibling is 72 years old. She lives in Los Angeles, California. Her name is Elizabeth. And my baby sister, LaShanta, she is 51 years old. And I'm going to tell you something. We took a beating from our older siblings. So the 21st child, the 20th child, and me, the 19th child. When we were 7 and 8 and 9 years old, we made a pact that when we got older, that we were going to get back at our siblings for disciplining us, for whooping us, telling us to do our homework. We wanted to get back at them. But as we became adults, my baby sister said, now that we are adults, let's get them. And I told my baby sister, I said, I'm not going to do that because we deserve it. And my baby sister had said, you just scared. You just scared. Let's get them. Let's get them. I said, no, I can't do that.
Well, well, Paul, coming from a huge family, I was just curious to know, is there any family members in the entertainment business? Because life with that many siblings had to be hilarious 24/7. Who's the comedian?
Well, we really don't have any comedians. We were raised in the church.
Oh,
So a lot of my brothers, I have a brother that's a preacher down in Memphis, Tennessee.
okay.
A lot of my brothers and sisters are into church, choir. They into the choir. Got a brother that been playing the drums for over 20 some years. They love being in church every Sunday. They still go to Bible study, even though some of them are senior citizens, but they just love church. There's no one in the entertainment business. If they are in the entertainment business, it's in the church. That's where we were born. That was basically where we were raised, in the church. So we try to stay very, very positive and productive into the community. Like when my mother shut her homeless shelter down and she passed away 4 years ago, my sister decided to open up a food pantry to give out food in the community. So the entertainment business is basically not for us.
I understand, Paul. And you said today, as of today, 17 children living, 63 grandchildren, 87 great grandchildren. Is that correct?
That is accurate. And I'm going to tell you something, and it's going to continue to grow. I'm talking about the great grandchildren, the kids, us. We ain't having no more kids.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My brother, that is 62 years old, all of his kids are adults. He's the only one about to have another child at the age of 62.
What? 62?
Yeah.
Paul, now you left all that out, and I was in your business. You left that out.
Yeah.
So, which sibling has the hosting house for all the siblings, or do you all rent a venue space for family functions? How do you do that with 17 children, 63 grandchildren, 87 great grandchildren?
I tell you what, every time when we go back home, hotels make a lot of money off us. But we usually we usually go and we'll rent out the city hall. We'll have our events there, and also we'll have it at the park where we have games and activities going on for the young kids. But every time we get together, it's an extraordinary event. The news media comes out and profile our story because it's history being made, and it's a long legacy. And I hope that once I'm dead and gone, that my children and the relatives, nieces and nephews, will continue to keep my mom and dad legacy alive by continuing to have these family reunions.
Well, are there any of the 21 children that did not have any children at all?
No, everybody had children.
Everybody.
Let me tell you something. My brothers, oh boy, they was laying the pipe, and women was getting the delight, and the females knew they was in a fight.
Now, Paul, you just said you grew up in the church. Now, what you gonna do? We either gonna be crazy or we gonna keep it PG now. So all the siblings wanted a big family too?
Most of them wanted, me, I have 4. Some of them have 5 and 7. Some of them just wanted 2 kids. I got a sister, the 20th. She only had 2 children. You understand? And that's what she wanted. Me, I just wanted 4. That's
Wow.
it. And you got, like I said, I got a sister that had straight 7 kids. Some that had 5 and 6, but it all added up to 63. Now it's about to be 64, and sometime next month.
Wow. And so how does holidays look? Like that's a lot of gifts.
Holidays. Let me tell you something. One thing about the Hunter family, we always believe in the power of prayer. There was times that we did not have any toys before Christmas. And do you know, people came on Christmas Eve and knocked on the door, walked in, and left toys, left money, left a Christmas tree for us, And that's when I learned at a young age that every time when my mother and father got down on their knees and prayed, God always opened up a door.
Wow. Well, I'm going to share your social media information, Paul, with the listeners so that they can know how to continue a conversation with you, how they can purchase your book. Paul Lamar Hunter, 19th child of 21 children. You can reach Paul at www.paullamarhunter.com. That's PaulLamarHunter.com. He's also on Twitter at Paul Lamar Hunter. You can find him on Facebook at Paul Lamar Hunter. Instagram as well, Paul Lamar Hunter, and on YouTube. You can reach him as Paul Lamar Hunter. Next question, Mr. Hunter. Did your mom ever share with you guys what inspired her to write the book Love and Charity?
Well, she wanted to get her story out. And what really inspired her was coming from Vicksburg, Mississippi, and experiencing the Jim Crow in the segregation back when she was growing up. She wanted to tell her story of how she did not let segregation or the Jim Crow system stop her from becoming a successful Black woman in the North. And she did it. She did it. You know, the first woman to start a homeless shelter, the first woman to birth 21 children. And if you do the math, do you know that my mother stayed pregnant for 15 straight years?
I read that.
15 straight years.
I read that and I instantly got an attitude. I'm sorry, this crazy conversation. I'm like, what? I couldn't imagine.
This is a crazy conversation with Kim.
I thought you were joking. I was not. I thought you were joking, Paul. I promise you. I said, no, you're not going to see this. You won't see 21 children, same mother, same father. And I know that you said that your father passed away, and I was so sorry to hear that part of our conversation. And you said that your mom passed away 4 years ago.
Yes.
And so what year did your dad pass away? I think I read it was 2012. Is that correct?
No. My dad passed away. I was 8 years old.
Okay.
So
Okay.
My dad passed away in 1978. So in 1977, there was a death in the family with my brother. And after that, a year later, my dad had passed away. He went to go visit his mom in Fayetteville, Mississippi, and had dinner with his mom. His mom requested him to stay in, but he wanted to go out and hang out with his family and friends, and he got in a car accident and he passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And when you said, what inspired you to write No Love, No Charity?
Well, I'll tell you what really inspired me was it's just my mother, my father, the trials and tribulations, and just becoming the first. Just imagine going against the odds where people had told me that I was at risk to be a drug dealer. I was at risk to go to prison. And I took their negative comments and turned it into something positive. And so people that are listening to this crazy conversation with Miss Kim, you need to learn to put your purpose above your circumstances.
Absolutely. Yeah. And can you please tell the listeners again exactly where they can purchase this amazing book, No Love, No Charity?
No Love, No Charity is available at Barnes & Noble website, Amazon.com. No Love, No Charity, The Success of the 19th Child. Also, you can purchase my mother book, Love and Charity, The Life Story of Louise Hunter in the Love and Charity Homeless Shelter. It is written by Dennis James Woods, one of the greatest ghostwriters in this world.
Wow. And with your family, and I know I asked if it was a set of twins. We did to talk about that. Now within the grandchildren and the great grandchildren, is it any multiple birth? When you see that number, I'm just thinking like, okay, a couple people had triplets.
Yeah, yes,
87.
it was just twins. And when it came to the grandchildren, some of the grandchildren now have twins.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. So it's just all around just a loving environment. You all have um exemplifies some amazing life skills just with me talking with you and getting to know you over this time. I just could not function in a household that large as much as I felt that I wanted one that large. Just to hear the happiness coming from the 19th child, that that's amazing. You really would get that happiness from the third or the fourth child. You're not gonna think that it's still gonna 19th child. So with that being said, that alone is a story to tell. That alone should be on the big screen. And I am just so excited to be able to witness this on the big screen and Broadway. I want to see it everywhere. So you got to keep pushing with this one, Paul, because it's an amazing story. We have not even touched down on a lot of things. So you already know that you have to come back, right, Paul?
Hey, listen. I am coming back because I love this conversation that we are having. So, hey, like I said, listeners, tune in every Tuesday night to listen to Crazy Conversation with Miss Kim. And guess what? One day you might see me back on the show again and we're going to have fun. We will have fun.
Yes, we will. Did you ever think, Paul, that this book, this your story, would become a screenplay?
Oh, most definitely. Once I wrote my book, No Love, No Charity, The Success of the 19th Child, I said to myself, this is a dandy. This can be a movie right here. People will come and watch this. And then I started knocking on doors. And I'm talking about I started knocking on doors. I had an opportunity to meet Vivica A. Fox on her talk show, Face the Truth. She brought me on and she brought some of my siblings on in 2019. And the executive producer was Dr. Phil. So I had an opportunity to meet him. And 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 I'm telling you, it is going to happen. And now all I'm doing right now is waiting for a date to come on the Jennifer Hudson show and to go on the Kelly Clarkson show in 2024. So I'm a person, I'm going to keep knocking, because eventually you're going to let me in.
Well, I can't wait. And I hope some of those people are listening to Crazy Conversations so they can know exactly how determined you are to get on their shows and on their platforms to tell your amazing story. They don't want to miss this story because, again, I'm looking forward to seeing it on the big screen. But, I know it's a lot of y'all. I know it's a lot. But, if you need me or wifey, for extras, we available, Paul. Put us in the
Okay.
story. Yeah, put us in the
Okay.
story. We can be adopted. It doesn't matter. We will be there to support you. Like I said, I cannot wait to see this story, come to life on the big screen and again on Broadway. We are super, super excited for you, Paul. But I did have one other question that was pertaining. I needed to know what are the differences between your mom's book and your book? Your
Well,
book, No Love, No Charity, and mom's book, Love and Charity, the story of the
well,
homeless shelter.
the difference between my mother book, Love and Charity, the life story of Louise Hunter, is because it was written in her perspective by Dennis Woods. It's it's her trials and her tribulations of how what she experienced in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and then coming over here to Racine, Wisconsin, and starting the first homeless shelter, and also, birthing 21 children in the North and making sure that she gave us a foundation that Christ is the answer and to remain in prayer. Now, when it comes to my book was written in my perspective of how it was growing up in a family of 20 siblings, the relationship with my mom that I had, the relationship with my father, and the relationship with my children, and the relationship with my siblings. And I describe each of my siblings because, when you got a big family, you're going to have the introverts, the extroverts, and the ambiverts. And I describe each of my siblings, their attitude, how to approach them, because there are some in the family you just don't want to approach,
Yes.
And so I had to describe their different personalities, their different characters, and I also talk about how I struggle academically. I'm talking about I used to struggle extremely hard when it came to academics, but my older siblings will work with me, but they never gave up on me. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why I tell men and women today, don't you give up on that person. Don't you give up on that person. And so my siblings never gave up on me. They continued to work with me. And if it wasn't for my siblings, I would not have this degree today.
Now, I'm sorry, Paul, did you have at least that one sibling to go to, that favorite sibling you went to for every single thing? Because you sound pretty spoiled, Paul. You sound like they gave you everything you wanted. Like you didn't even have to ask, it was just given to you.
Yeah. Because you have to understand, I'm the baby boy,
right?
So I'm the baby boy. So when it came to me, they would give. To this day, I'm 53 years old. I can call any of them right now. If I wanted something, they'll give it to me.
Those sisters come running, don't they? Those sisters, come on, get baby brother. Come on, get baby bro need us. Yeah, I can imagine that. That has to be so exciting. And when you all got together to do things, did your parents have like their siblings and their children? Did any of your parents have siblings that had large families like you guys?
My aunt, I had an aunt that had 15 kids.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, and then I got an aunt that has 9 kids, and then their brother, he only had 2 girls, 2 boys, 4 kids. So, but it's just the way it is.
It's a great thing. I mean, you all have the party, you all have the people. All you all need is just the beverages and the food, because again, you all are there together, and that's enough. That's amazing. I would love to have had that many siblings. I promise you, I probably wouldn't want to have shared everything, but I think just the excitement of coming home to a house full would have been just up my alley, I think. And I had a question about love and charity with the life and the story of Louise Hunter. In her book, did she tell a lot of her experiences at home, or was it more so directed towards the shelter? Because I told you I was waiting on my copy to get here. So did she talk more towards her life or more towards the homeless shelter?
It's a balance of her life in the homeless shelter.
Okay.
And the relationship with her kids and birthing those, 21 children. And you got to say it. My mom is a rock star.
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you right now, what she's been through, the trials and tribulations and the hardships, and then, giving her body, to one man to birth all of these children.
You
I
said
thank God that I'm a male. I
you
thank
said
God I'm a male.
Paul, you said something that a lot of people can't even relate to, but this crazy
Yeah.
conversations, and you said you go to church, and I do too, but you said something that hit home when you just said a woman that only allowed one person to touch her. We need
Yeah,
to
it's
go
the
back to
truth.
that, Paul. We
It's the
need to
truth. And
go back to that. But that's a whole
yeah,
nother conversation. But we will get to that when you come back to Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim. And the other question that I wanted to find out about with the homeless shelter, did any of the siblings work within the shelter to help your mom? Did they carry on that legacy with the homeless shelter? If so, how long did they do it?
my mom did it for 45 years, and so we were practically raised in the homeless shelter because when we got out of school, we had we had to go to the homeless shelter and help our mom,
Right.
and that could be doing paperwork, that could be doing um, helping feeding homeless men and women and children. We did it all there. We literally did it all there. So that's the reason why a lot of my siblings can relate to people that's in need because we were in need. And
And
so we have a heart to give. We have a heart to help people.
it sounds like it. And when I say that, I heard the humbleness, and that's exactly why I was not gonna let this conversation sit any longer. Like I said, you was extremely patient during my transition. So the one thing I was obligated to do was to give you an amazing conversation. And I appreciate you allowing me to be in your business. We are family now. So
Yes.
wife and I we have loved every detail, every story, every piece of laughter you share with us. It's embedded in us now. So again, I will stop being scared of big families now, even though I always wanted a big family. So again, with that being said, you are motivation to larger families to encourage each and every sibling, great grandchild, grandchildren as well, to keep going no matter what, because again, you can do it. God has blessed you and he will continue to bless you. Is there anything else, Paul Lamar Hunter, that you would like to share with the listeners on Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim?
Well, Kim, I would like to tell your listeners uh, just to continue to tune in to your show every Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Crazy Conversation with Miss Kim. But I do like to say this: do more. Do more by spreading love. Do more by spreading hope. Do more by giving. Do more by helping people in our society because there are a lot of people in our community that are struggling financially. And I think that if you are in position to help someone financially, you should help them because you never know when the
When the tables are
when the
turned, when you need
when
someone, you have
yep
to. Yeah.
when things are going to change in your life. So you never know. So always give a helping hand to help someone in need.
And that is so true. And that's one thing that I wish would be strongly pushed and strongly advocated with this generation, to see this younger generation to give back a little bit more. Some of them are so fortunate, but a lot will not give back. And that would be amazing if we can see more in the younger generation. Just give back to your village, give back to your churches, give back to your community. That would be amazing if we could just get the younger generation to give back a little more. I think we'll be on our way to something. What do you think, Paul?
Oh, most definitely.
Most definitely. My mother used to always say that charity starts at home, and it really does start at home. When you teach the fundamentals of charity at home, then you'll be able to go out and help everybody and disperse charity among everybody in our society.
Well, can you please let the listeners know before we end this amazing conversation just where they can purchase your book?
You can go purchase my book, No Love, No Charity, The Success of the 19th Child. It is available on Amazon.com and also Barnes and Noble website. But by the way, don't forget to purchase my mother's book. Please go out and get her book,
Yes.
Love and Charity, the life story of Louise Hunter and the Love and Charity Homeless Shelter. It is written by Dennis James Woods.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that with the listeners, Paul Lamar Hunter. And we appreciate you being on Crazy Conversations. This is not the last time you will hear from the Almonds. You will hear from us, and we might pop in on you in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for allowing me to be in your business. You've shared some amazing life skills to myself as well as the listeners. So, again, lots of love to your family. And we appreciate you again joining us on Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim. You have a wonderful evening, Mr. Paul Lamar Hunter. Thank you again. We appreciate you.
You are welcome.
And I need my book signed, Mr. Hunter, please. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you all for listening to Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim on IntellectualRadio.com. Next week, we will be going through our IVF journey. So please tune in next week. You will see an exclusive crazy conversation as you will witness the IVF journey of Sumner and I next week on IntellectualRadio.com. Good night, friends.
Cause I'm living with my mother, man. And I'm back talking to my father, ain't talking to my brother. And I don't give a y'all. It's my prerogative to live how I live, to feel how I feel. You know what it is. It's my word.